we're working on trying to bring more businesses together with the providers that provide job skills and shadowing job training, bringing more awareness of how employers can meet some of their business needs with some of the people that are willing and able and capable to do some of these jobs. So we're really trying to bring more awareness and bringing everybody together doing their part. So you're seeing just some major transformations, and now people are looking to see what they can do in their communities. Carmel is looking to now establish some kind of structure like ours, like a Fisher's Advisory Committee on Disability. So it's exciting to see that we are leading the way in regard to building a life where there's life without limits for people with physical and intellectual disabilities.
One of the biggest frustrations to me was seeing how many of my students would graduate and nothing would happen after graduation. There weren't necessarily a lot of services in place, and they weren't able to maintain their jobs, and so there was a lot of gap and a lot of underemployment and a lot of students not being able to live a meaningful life. So joining this subcommittee has helped me partner better with some of the service providers and the city themselves, so that when we are getting students jobs and gaining more employers, they're able to maintain those jobs and keep the connections after, so that they are able to have meaningful days.
Jake is 23 years old, special needs. He has several things going on. He has cerebral palsy, developmental delay, and he is also deaf. So there's a lot of, I guess, involvement, as you will, as they call it, when someone has special needs. Those are the main issues that he has going on with his life. He lives at home. He's a very happy little guy. So he attends a daycare program now that he's out of school. And that was a hard struggle trying to find care for him after school.
Many people think of special education and opportunities for youth, but all of those folks eventually age out of school, and we need to understand that those folks still may have training opportunities that they need to participate in, whether it be job training or volunteerism, so that they can continue to learn skills. And so Outside the Box is a program that meets the needs of those adults. And the cool thing is we are coming to Fishers. We have been involved in Fishers as far as a program that helps people with employment supports, but we have very recently been given the opportunity to open a second location, and it will be the first day program that meets people's needs differently in the community of Fishers.
And I think with this March Disability Awareness for the community really has brought light to a need for people in our community, and you see companies wanting to be a part of that, and it's kind of a unified force to say, how can we all work together to be an inclusive community?
Fishers, our deaf community here in Fishers is vast, and more deaf families are moving to Fishers all the time because it's wonderful accessibility. Different places here have captions on the TV, more and more businesses that have employers that can sign. So they provide interpreting services where we go to different places around Fishers. The firemen and the police officers here have some basic skills training regarding sensitivity, so it's really wonderful.
And so we see here at the Y an opportunity, and we get to work with about 30 different students a week with the Transitions program. They volunteer and do all variety of things, but often they're at our front desk and help greet our members as they come in and say goodbye as they leave. They've become a real important part of our culture and kind of our first impressions as people walk in the Y. And to us, it's an important part of helping to strengthen our community, give back to our community, and provide really important skills for those students.
Everybody has a disability. You're better at something or worse at something. And I think what we really need to do when we hire, and every employer specifically in Fishers, I would say 85% of them as I drive down Allisonville or 116th Street or wherever I am have help wanted signs. So I'm curious, are they really opening their minds and the employment opportunities at their business, looking at abilities and not the disability? Because people have so much more abilities than they have as far as the identified disability. So you can tell disability is not one of my favorite words.
The unemployment rate for people with disability is disproportionately high. And so you're missing an untapped potential of a workforce that has a lot of potential, can bring a lot of different abilities to the table. And with the low employment rate now, it's hard to find talent, and the disabled community can help bring that talent.
What's it going to cost us in time or money to have someone on our team with a disability? And what we've learned is it doesn't take much. And we only had to make a couple accommodations, get a door that worked the right way for him. He asked for a microphone. We got that for him. It made it easier for him to type. But other than that, it's taken very little for us to be able to add someone to our team that's given us so much more than it cost for us to accommodate him.
Disabled people, like any other different people and diversity-wise, bring a different perspective to the workplace and to just life in general. It's important to have those different viewpoints in the meeting rooms, and just so you can make sure that everyone is involved, that all your community stakeholders are involved.
I think it's been really, really successful seeing individuals that like I said, we may have dismissed, and seeing them succeed tenfold to what we even thought that they could do based on our own biases about their disability or our thought of their inability to do something, and it's been surprising for us. And it's also been really great for our guests too. Our guests are getting a really neat perspective onto learning about history or learning about agriculture and nature from someone who is different than them, so they can see it from their perspective too.
I have personal firsthand experience. My daughter has Down syndrome, so it's part of our family life, and being able to include individuals with disabilities, has just been something that's obviously very close to our hearts, and really giving people the opportunity to be a productive part of society, and feel like they're needed and that people are counting on them. It's great, just seeing smiles on their faces, and it's just awesome. And the staff here, they love it too. So it's huge benefit for everybody.
For March, for Disability Awareness Month, in that it's what it sounds like. It's the reverse of what a job fair is. Instead of having the employers on one side of the table, you are having the candidates. So let's say it's me behind the table, and JW Marriott, Apple, Microsoft, they're all milling around, and they approach me and introduce themselves and tell me about their organizations, their skill sets they're looking for, their jobs they have open. And they are lowering the anxiety of me because they're guiding the conversation. Very much persons with disabilities, they can have a high anxiety because they figure they're not like everybody else. And so by having the employer lead the conversation, it lowers your anxiety and gives the tint of the HR person instead of trying to filter out the person in the job, they're trying to filter the person into the job.
I just think the exposure to these folks and being able to meet them and hear their stories is something that I don't see provided a lot of other places. And then all of these providers and resources coming into one room through the Fishers Diversity Council work group, it has helped me say, every time I have a job opening, I go to that group. I just say, hey, do you guys have anybody you think might fit this? That helps me in my job do that much quicker, but I don't know many other places where you can just send out an email blast that quickly and find some really cool folks who can do some really good stuff. And so it's been really exciting for us to have a business in Fishers and a place that provides those services.
To leverage those strengths of all of the citizens of Fishers, help provide a strong and stable workforce for the companies, and also leverage the support that we get from the schools. I think it just makes us, continues with our mission of the vibrant entrepreneurial community, and really helps us become a more diverse and inclusive community in terms of all different various factors of it, what inclusion would be.
Parks and Recreation, the things they've done with Spark Fishers, providing a sensory viewing area for people in wheelchairs and people that have sensory processing issues, where they can view the parade, where there's no noise. There's a section there. There's earphones that people can use for the fireworks if they're sensitive to the noise from the fireworks. At the amphitheater in the pavilion area, there is a sensory room where families can come in with their kids and take a little break. The lights are low, there's bean bags. It's just a way to kind of decompress. Everything is low lighting and just a way to chill and get out of all the noise and distractions from outside.
With the new development of the parks and everything we have here, very much bringing in some quieter space and some sensory space areas, so that's wonderful. And just having a progressive mind, thinking about transportation in the future and also housing for disability.
We have been doing a lot to try to bring more housing to our community. So recently there was a project that was approved that will provide 30 units for people with disabilities. These units will be accessible and affordable, and this is the first time a project like this has come to our community, which is really exciting.
Some of the changes we've seen in Fishers are in housing. The house that we're in right now, Ellen's house, where she lives, is totally accessible. And we're seeing a lot of visitable homes in Fishers. That means homes that a wheelchair can get into. We don't have to go up a step. We can come in at a zero entry level. There's enough room in the bathroom that if they needed to go to the bathroom, they could get into the restroom. So visitable doesn't mean that it's 100% accessible, but it means that a handicapped person can come visit your home.
Go out in the community and people won't make eye contact with somebody if they have a disability because they don't know. You don't know what you don't know is something that one of my colleagues said, and I cherished that when she told me that, because if you don't understand something, sometimes you're uncomfortable with it. But now when I'm walking around with our students more out in the community, I am seeing a lot more engagement, and that is something that makes this worth it all to me.
We have so much to be proud of here in Fishers because what we've created is a life without limits for everybody.